right, guys, here we are. It's been a hot minute since Under Contract made its way to your listening and visual space. We were on a brief hiatus, but nonetheless, a contract is a contract. And when you make a contract with yourself, whether it's in the personal sense or business sense or all of the above, contract must be fulfilled. So here we are. Under Contract is back. We are in the studio. I have one of my favorite people on the planet right now. Just right now.
I've earned some time. Yeah.
One of my favorite people on the planet right now for a variety of reasons. He is a man of God. He is a little hustler in the real estate sense. He's a hustler as a dad. He makes differences everywhere he goes, and just an all-around really cool person. I've got my dear, dear friend Isaih in the house.
Thank you for having me.
What's up?
I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. This was the first podcast I'd ever seen about real estate when I came here, because I was looking, I was like, do people do podcasts? And I found yours. That's how I actually found you initially, and then got you with Sean and booked you. And I was like, I'm happy. This is full circle for me.
So therein lies the power. And I was just sharing this with Corbin before we were getting ready, the power of social media. Because he asked me, he was like, how in the world do you guys connect? And I said, social media.
Social media, yeah.
And now that you've shared with me, it was because you were searching podcasts. Under Contract has gone through such a metamorphosis over the years. And I feel like as a person, and chime in on this, there are certain seasons, as we know in our life, that we go through, and that season dictates how we show up. Yeah. Not only how we show up, but how we decide to play. Right. And I feel like not only in our business, things are evolving every second, every minute of the day, but in life. And when I decided to do Under Contract, I had just gone through my health struggles. And I remember saying to myself, I'm going to document this. I'm going to bring awareness to it because I made a contract with myself. But it so happens that I do real estate.
Yeah.
What is that again that I do? Real estate. That I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about this and just talk about people and life and the contracts we make with ourselves. Yeah. So I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that's how you found me.
Yeah.
So what contract have you made with yourself lately?
Actually, you called me on Sunday. You asked me what my word of the day was. And I told you, I was like, well, I was with my kids. So I was like, the word for today is patience. Patience with myself, patience with my kids. And that's a moving target sometimes. Sometimes it requires more patience. Sometimes it requires less patience. And so my contract was like, I just will stay even killed as much as possible. Like, not get too ahead of myself, not to get too low, which I have tendency to do. But I will just give myself grace, be patient with myself, be patient with the progress. And then it helps me, be patient with clients. And I get to practice that with my kids, and they're 2 and 4, so they're always pushing limits, but
Never.
No,
never. I mean, I've never heard them push your limit on a phone call ever.
You've heard them. We've heard, I think you called me one night. We were going over numbers.
That would be last
night. They were having a dance party, and I was like, can you guys be quiet? And they wouldn't turn it down. It was Beyonce's song. Like, it was just, but that's minimal compared to, like, I also think of, I know what can happen if they do certain things. Like right now, my son is pushing the street thing where he wants to walk into the street. He really wants to. And he'll go to the curb and kneel down and look at me. And I can't let him get too far because I know what will happen or what could happen. It's just too much risk. But allowing the patience for him to kind of, like, how do we figure out, how do I express what the dangers are? And
pros and cons.
Yeah, and I'm a young dad, so I just have to learn that. But it also helps with, like, clients when we talk about risk, just giving them what we know could happen, and then being patient with that. So
it's the transparency that I feel like, because let's just really kind of break it down, right? Real estate, you can't be emotional.
No.
Right. And I feel like that translates over into your personal life when you take the principles how you run your business. Like for us, we have to be, at least real estate agents, we have to be impartial.
Yeah.
Right? We have to truly be impartial, and we have to stay with a contract. Yeah. So once you start looking at your business in the sense that, hey, this is a commitment that I made to my clients, or this is a commitment that I made to myself in terms of how I'm going to run my business. And this is a commitment that I made to myself in life.
Right.
How do you feel given that you're wearing all of these hats right now? Because I've seen your business just literally go.
Yeah.
Like it gone from like double zero to like triple. What do you feel like? I know your faith is like a big component of this.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I've been super lucky to be grounded. I mean, I was raised
blessed.
in the church. I've been blessed. And I tell my parents that, like, I mean, they had their flaws and they're humanized in my eyes as an adult now. Like I understand it better. But growing up, they ingrained the church. I was at church 4 times a week. Like they were, we're always there. So that kind of is innate. And I think, I actually, like, it hits me sometimes when I feel helpless because I know that, like, I don't actually serve myself. I'm not in charge. And I remember God taking me in Israel. When I went to visit Israel, there was a thing I was dealing with. Personally, I was 18 years old, and I went out to a jetty, and it was bad. Like, it was not a great thing, and I was there for my grandma sent us after high school.
That's cool.
And yeah, it was awesome, and it was a party town. Like, it was in Eilat. So Eilat is where they all kind of the young kids go party. It's kind of like their Vegas, and so it's clubs all to the right. And I walked out of the hotel, and something told me just go left. Like, I want to talk to you. And it was God. And so I just sat there and just listened, and I was like, kind of unloaded on him. I was like, how could you do this? Like, my family's falling apart. My mom was losing her house. Like, everything was, when I go home, this is going to be a mess. And I had just gotten into like a crazy fight with my dad. Like, it was a bad situation. And I remember God checking me and being like, well, first of all, like, you need to honor your parents, regardless if you agree with what they're doing. I call you to honor them. And so that was like a moment where I had to, okay. And then secondly, he said, watch these waves. And he said, imagine, try to stop the waves.